Hey everyone, it is Friday and it is time for our Rockstar interview of the week. And I'm Sherri Johnson, National Real Estate Coach, Consultant, Speaker. And I'm so excited because today's guest is a really fantastic friend of mine and coaching member and realtor, awesome realtor out of Arkansas, Colley Bailey. Hey, Colley.
Hey,
welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
It is fantastic to have you. While people are getting on and I don't want them to miss any of your awesome story, I'm just going to say a couple of quick things. One, if you're logging on and you're with us right now, I see people jumping on. This is a hot topic today. So go into the comments and tell me who you are and just say your name and where you're calling from, what state, what city. That way I will see you're on and we can have you ask questions at any time. Or anything you want to say, comments, you want to make comments about what's being said, that would be awesome. We love to hear from all the people watching. We are recording this, obviously. It's on Facebook, but we will be recording this and it will be permanently housed in our podcast as well as on Rockstars in Real Estate with Sherri Johnson Coaching, the Facebook group. So, you got it. Oh, nice, Tiffany Meyer. Hey there, girlfriend. Good to see you. Oh, my gosh. I love when all the people just come out from everywhere. So also before I start our awesome interview with Colley Bailey from Fathom Realty in Arkansas, be sure to download the You Rock Sherri Johnson Real Estate Sales Podcast from any platform. Again, that's called You Rock with Sherri Johnson, a real estate sales podcast that is on every possible podcast platform that's out there. We've had unbelievable success in like 2 months. We've had over 1,200 downloads, maybe more now. I don't even know. And it's just been really exciting. So lots of great content, free, awesome content that you can listen to. And we'll put that link in, I think we just put it in, our producers just put it in the chat and the comments as well. So I am so excited that you're here, Colley. I met you. I have to tell everybody how I met you. I interviewed you actually on a panel. We did, gosh, I don't even know when that was, like
a few months ago.
Yeah, 6 or 8 months ago. And You were on a panel that I was introduced to you through RISMedia, and I got to be the moderator. I got to meet you and we started talking about business and you were excited about our coaching and we forged our relationship. But I'd love for you to share with everyone how you got into real estate, where you work, what the average sale price is in your market, kind of the makeup of where you are in Arkansas, because it's a great story. And how did you get in the real estate business?
Well, I landed in the real estate business like a lot of people after doing something else. And my something else was I went to Hollywood and wanted to be Brad Pitt. And so that was a fun adventure. I actually got to coach with his, one of the acting coaches that he had trained with and all this other stuff, and got to be a background actor on all the movie studio lots out there. And ended up doing some B horror movies, which are still floating around out there. So love it. You can find those. Had a lot of fun with that. Ultimately, though, I was married. I married this wonderful woman that actually I went to high school with, and we got married, and then we moved to Hollywood. And we got to be, I don't know, 26 or 27, and we started thinking, well, eventually we're going to do something else, right? We're going to have a family. We're going to travel the world. There's a lot of stuff we want to do besides just living in LA. And so we ultimately decided to move back home to Arkansas, and we landed in Fayetteville, Arkansas, which is the home of the Razorbacks, the U of A, right next to Bentonville, which is the home of Walmart. And, anybody, especially artists and actors and athletes and people like that, when you try to transition away from that, there's like a whole world of trying to figure out who you are again. And so I had all kinds of jobs in between. I mean, I did construction. I was an electrician's apprentice. I I managed a pizza restaurant. I ultimately ended up landing at a camera store, an awesome locally owned camera store here in Fayetteville, Bedford's Camera. And I started shooting photography and video and kind of using a lot of the filmmaking stuff that I knew about already and working that for real estate agents. And so I got to know several different real estate agents, and eventually they talked me into getting my license and trying this crazy world. And that's kind of how I landed here. So in about 2015, I got licensed and was in the general market for a little while. And ultimately I got the opportunity to work for a builder, big regional builder here, Roush Coleman Homes, and they're typically in the top 30 or 40 builders in the nation, and had 3 years working with them. And it was amazing. Still have great friends there, great relationships there. And, but I sold through a neighborhood. I sold through a phase, the first phase of a neighborhood, and the second phase wasn't going to be ready for like 6 or 9 months. And this was at the end of 2019. And so, we have a shortage of housing in the US, but you might not realize that the builders also kind of have a shortage of land, and they have to develop, and it takes 2 years to develop something and get it ready. So we were kind of looking at a gap in, houses that I would be able to sell. And I thought, man, should I make a go of the general market again? Is that actually something that I could do and be successful without, working with the builder and basically having listings on tap?
Right. That's a great way to say it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it was wonderful. And I just thought, I think I can do the general market, and I think I can make a go of it. And there was that gap in production. And I thought, okay, let's do it. I had some money in savings, and I talked to my wife, and she said, yep, it's time. Let's do this thing. So at the beginning of 2020, I jumped out into the general market, and obviously that was a great time to for the whole world to
oh my gosh,
to go into, right? Well, the first couple months were great, and then COVID hit, and man, it stalled out a little bit. But by the end of the year, the second half of 2020, I had doubled my production from the first half. And then, I've been working with you for a few months now, and we've actually doubled the production of all of last year already. So yeah, so good things are happening.
Pretty awesome. And I have to comment real quickly, because I think when we were pulling your photos for the promotional RISMedia webinar, I did not know about your acting background, and our marketing team pulled, pictures.
Like an old headshot.
How many Colley Baileys could there be? And it was like, I just remember Jill texting me and saying, this guy's an actor. And I was like, come on. And, I texted you, and I was like, did you not tell me about your acting career? And then here you were, I saw these movies, and it was just so cool. So
did you find that one?
Yeah. I mean, were you like 19 or something? 20? How old are you?
Yeah, early 20s.
So I love that you did that. And I loved when we, when she started coaching, and I heard the entire story about that. I just think that's so awesome that you spent 10 years out there, however it went. And, the things you learned and the things you shared with me about the experience. But, what really is so great about it is that you are not afraid of video today. And so when we look at agents that are sort of, apprehensive and have major fear of how to be on video, I feel like this is just so natural for you to do. And that's one of the reasons why, I could have had you on for a number of topics. I mean, when I asked you to be on the show today, it's like, well, which topic should we do? Because you've implemented so many things of our strategies with such great as you just said, you've doubled even since joining us, and you've implemented the gold mine pipeline system. You've implemented the scale your business system. So those are all great, and maybe we'll have you talk about those on another show. But what's so exciting to me is that you have taken landing pages, you've taken lots of systems, again, that involve video and marketing and videos on Facebook. And so we're going to talk about all that today, everybody. I think you're excited. I know you're going to take away so much today that you can also implement and get results like Colley is getting. So so now we've got you. We know that you were in new construction, which also is an incredible, I believe, precursor to becoming but becoming a residential sales agent, because you really know how to convert a lead from, open houses and things like that. That's huge. And there's a lot of value in that. And I think you've taken off with this. And one of the biggest things I've watched you do that most agents don't do is most agents are spending time just whatever's coming at them, reactive, doing what's happened, what's sort of just happening, instead of making a plan and making phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. You actually have, a 1 to 3 year plan. And I think that's something I don't see often. I did the same thing. Like, I was like, this is what I'm doing this year. This is what I'm gonna do next year. This is what I'm gonna do. I mean, you and I just talked, we were like, okay, the second half of 2021, you said to me, I'm going to double what I did the first half. And I said, absolutely. And that's being really on purpose and strategic. And I think folks listening can take note of that, because that is what makes the difference. Like, you can be proactive or reactive. And I think you do so much proactive work. So let's talk about.
Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that.
It's a big deal. And I take nothing for granted. And I'm always ecstatic when people take our systems and actually implement them.
Yeah.
And your spreadsheets, you're like the model agent to show people this is how it's supposed to be done. So I think it's awesome. So when we talk about some of the things that are working for you, my biggest first thing to talk about is building an audience on Facebook. So I'm now speaking a language that many people listening are going, what is she talking about? So can you help everyone understand, what does that mean, building an audience? How did you build that audience? Can you talk about your YouTube channel, where you put these videos, and then sort of how you have built this audience from 4,000 to 12,000 to now I think it's 16,000.
Yeah.
So and share how you're doing that, and why why the numbers are so impressive is that it's all in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Yeah.
And this is like, you actually have more people on your audience than houses that are sold per year, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So last year there were 12,000 houses sold in our market across Washington and Benton counties. So that's, Bentonville and Fayetteville and all the towns in between and the counties surrounding it. So there was 12,000, and I made it a goal that I wanted at least that many people in a custom audience. Okay. So how I started with that, actually, it was funny that you had Grant Wise on.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually, years ago, he first taught me Facebook, the Facebook Ads Manager, and how to do that. And the programs that he has now are way simplified from where we started together. But yeah, he went into the weeds. He got really deep on, how to run all these different types of campaigns and which campaigns to run and how to create your custom audiences and retarget. And that's really the game on Facebook. It is a pay-to-play system right now. I'm not saying you can't have success with Facebook groups and, posting listings to Facebook groups and all that kind of stuff, and develop a big friend base on Facebook. You absolutely can, and you should. But if you want to reach the maximum amount of people, you really got to get into the retargeting aspect. And that means you've got to create a custom audience of people that have seen your content before and that continue to see your content over and over again. Like I have past clients and they will just send me screenshots and they're like, hey, you're saving me so much money because I don't see other people's ads anymore. Like I don't click through on and buy this shirt or this purse or whatever, because the only ads I see are yours now. So thanks, Colley.
That's awesome. So
and I'm like, well, I hope it's not too annoying, but yeah, I'm trying to saturate the mind share of people that are most likely to do business with me here in my local area. And the way that I've been able to do that is the first thing that I would say is if you're not doing video and you want to start doing video, the absolute best place to start is listing videos. There are a lot of other videos you can do, and we can get into that, but start with listing videos, because more than anything, more than they care about, than an audience cares, they don't so much care about you, and they don't care about your expertise until they need those things. But initially, if they're thinking about making a move, all they care about is a house. That's it. This is why Zillow has become the monster that it is because they started with the house and all they did was market houses. And they just said, hey, you want to see houses? Come here. We should be doing the same thing. And especially if you're starting with video, use that. So when you have a listing, create a video for every single listing. It's an extra little bit. You should be hiring a professional photographer anyway. Find one that also does some video and pay a little extra. Trust me, it's really worth it. And how your videos should probably be structured on a listing is the first 10 seconds are 2 to 3 shots. Maybe it's a drone shot coming down the street or, whatever your videographer can do there. But, it's an introduction to the house. And then at about the 10-second mark, you should pop up on the screen and say, and it should be you and your face, okay? And you should be looking into a lens, just like looking into the pupil of a person that you're talking to, and say, hey, come check out this house with me. It's got this and this, and it's so amazing. People have been waiting for a house like this to come on the market, and here it is. Come check it out with me, right? And that little blurb is, 15 seconds of you talking. Now, here's why the timing of that is really important. Because at 15 seconds, Facebook will count that video as what they call a through play.
Yep.
Okay? And if people watch a through play, that means they have watched 10 seconds of a house and 5 seconds at least of you. They're looking for houses and they have an introduction to you. Boom. That's all you need for them to now be a member of your audience. Because you can go to Facebook and create a custom audience of anybody who has watched a through play of any of your videos. And now you'll start to build. So every time you have a listing, pump it out on the first weekend and try to get it in front of 30, 50, 70,000 people. And Facebook will do that very efficiently. I mean, we're talking about if you do it as a reach campaign to the geographical area around your listing, mm-hmm. We could be talking about $100 ad spend to get it in front of 50,000 people.
And how many days do you do that for? Just
2 or 3 days. I might put it as a $50 a day for the weekend, just for the opening weekend, which is all we're getting right now. So.
Right.
But yeah, you can get it in front of a huge amount of people and treat it in your mind. Think of it like a postcard. Okay. Most people are going to be scrolling through their phone and they're going to throw it away. They're not going to watch it don't get your feelings hurt about that.
Mhm.
It's just not relevant to them. You know, it's like when you get the pest control postcard, I already got a pest control guy that goes in the trash. Well, the same thing happens for their attention. They're going to scroll past it. Don't worry about that. But you'll have 1,000 people that will watch 15 seconds of it. Now, here's the real question. Pay attention to the next time you're on a social media platform, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. How fast do you scroll?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you read text really quick and you go to the next one and you see a picture and you like it, and you go to the next one and you watch like 5 seconds of a video and you go, that's funny. Like, click, and you go to the next thing, right? 15 seconds is actually a long time for somebody to watch.
It is.
So if somebody is watching 15 seconds of a house, they're interested in houses.
Yeah, and I like how you strategically made the first,
the first 10 seconds are not about us, the agent.
Right. That's drawing them in. The magnet is the house, and the video of the house, and the drone shot, and the shot going up the driveway. And that's what's inviting the person to watch your video. So then the last couple seconds of that, or last 5 or 8 seconds of that, is you saying, hey, and now you've got yourself in there, and you've got the through play that Facebook deems as those people now can go into another audience. So the whole thing it's very strategic, and I like it. And I know Grant Wise always says, I think I have this right, attention is the currency of sales.
Yeah.
And it's so true, getting someone's attention. And for years, people, I mean, I was in commercial printing and advertising for years in a family business. And when you look at people who spent millions of dollars, they still do, but millions of dollars on a TV commercial. Mm-hmm. And now we have this ability to do video for free, right? And no one's taking advantage of this. And it blows my mind, really, because, I didn't go to Hollywood, but I wanted to be an actress. And I feel like, being on TV, and I did the news. And so I'm not afraid of the camera, and I had 4 years of being a news anchor, but in college. But like, to me, this is the easiest way to scale your message to the mass amount of people. You can make one video and have 1,000 people watch that message about you. And these educational, really, it's an educational marketing piece at the same time. So I have a question here. Where am I? I do TikTok. Hi, Tanya Mitchell. I do TikTok videos, try to keep them to 15 seconds or less. There you go. Perfect. Yep. And then this person is saying, do still pics. Oh, do you find if still pics first, or should it be video, Colley?
Well, you still need the still photography because, across all the different platforms, obviously the stills go in your MLS. They're going to go out to Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, all that stuff. It's going to show up on your brokerage website. You need the stills to be really phenomenal. Also, by the way, I know this is about video, but you remember how fast people scroll through things? Okay, I've heard agents say, especially in this really hot market, well, the photos don't matter as much because everything's so hot. And also, people don't look at them. They just kind of scroll through them real fast. I'm like, oh, you're missing the point. The faster the less attention you have, the better the message needs to be.
Yes. So
you need a professional photographer who understands lighting and composition and how to make every room look like it's a magazine quality. You want it to look like it's coming right out of HGTV magazine.
I completely agree.
Every property, I don't care if it's 1,000 square foot little thing that's, not the top of your market. Make it look great because it's your brand.
It's your brand. And that's
and the faster that people scroll, the more professional you need that impression quickly to be, oh, this is a very professional high-end brand, right? So, okay, so yes, you do still need still photos, but what I would say is if you're making a video, I see people make the mistake of putting still pictures in a video.
I think then that's what I think the question was about. So
yeah, don't do that. Don't
Yeah.
do that. And the thing is, still pictures are much more enjoyable to watch as still images. Like, give them an opportunity to go see the stills and look at them as long as they want to, and look all around the picture and see all the aspects of the house. They need time with that, and that's great. Or they'll scroll really fast like we were talking about, but they have that choice of how long they're looking at that image. With video, you are walking somebody through the story of the house, right? So you want to come down the street, you want to walk up the driveway, you want the door to open, right? Typically in between there is where I'll have my little introduction. I'm usually in the yard. Hey, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square feet. Everybody's been wanting this starter home, and now we've got one. Come check it out with me, right? And then I'll turn and walk into the house, and then the shot changes to the door opening. Okay, but they're all moving images. They're not still images.
Yeah.
So it's more captivating, because what will happen if you do a still image video is people actually get impatient to see the next picture, and they actually just skip the whole video.
Wow. Yeah, I see that. And I think that's great advice. I also want to point out and reiterate what you just said. When I see a professionally done photo of a house, lighting, staged, the angle that it's shot at, the wide angle lens maybe, and the graphics on that still photo, I stop and look at that because I'm like, wow, versus, and I think you're right. I think people think it doesn't matter because everything is selling so fast, which, it's slowing down right now, even in some markets. But I think that's, you're not going to get the results with that mindset of thinking it doesn't matter. I'm just going to put any picture from my phone. I mean, that always has driven me nuts. People are
also, here's the other thing.
Pictures from their phones.
Yeah, every client has in their mind, why am I paying this person so much?
Yep.
They're going to ask themselves that multiple times before they hire you, while you're sitting there, while you're doing the listing, in the middle of everything. Like, once you get under contract, they're in the middle of everything, nothing's really happening, inspections haven't happened yet. They're like, gosh, this person's getting paid a lot, and I don't even know what they're doing. And when they sign at the end, yep, this commission amount is going to these people. You need to be able to increase, and we've talked about this before, Sherri, the perceived value of the property.
Absolutely.
Right? But also, you have a perceived value that you need to work on increasing as an agent. And it's something we work on a lot, actually. And so I really appreciate you for all your advice on that. But
it is.
Yeah. But professional photography and video and doing this type of marketing really sets you apart. I mean, I had a listing appointment a few weeks ago, and we're working through getting with this client. But what he said was, I didn't just want to hire a regular agent, but if what you do is really different and it really makes a difference, then I want to talk to you. He was a for sale by owner, by the way. And so that got me in the door because I was like, yeah, I'll put your house in front of 50,000 people in the first weekend.
So I want you to repeat that, because this is a differentiator that every agent, if you're doing this type of digital marketing, if you're not talking about, I feel like agents have no social media or digital marketing plan that their strategy that they're sharing with the seller, sort of the way you do, which I love how you say that. I can put your house in front of 50,000 people this weekend. Like right there, okay? Everyone on this call, everyone listening to this now or in the future listening to this, that sentence, okay? No one else is saying, I can put your house in front of 50,000 people. Choose me to market your property. Choose me to list your house. And that is like, I'm not passing by. I'm not skipping over that. I really wanted to focus in on that for a second. Yeah. So Tanya's asking, what advice do you have for older homes that, they're old homes, they're occupied, maybe they're not, we have to stage some of those, Tanya. I think that's part of it. Declutter really, when we talk about staging, it's not just redecorating. It's literally, taking more than half of the contents out of a house could be the staging strategy. But Colley, what do you do with older homes and when you want to videotape them and make them look better?
Yeah, well, I think we've talked about this. One of the things is helping the seller understand that the better they prepare the home, the higher the price they can get because the buyer's perceived value. It's this conversation about buyer's perceived value.
That's right.
There's so many different ways I could talk about that, but I think that the three things to keep in mind are to declutter, just like you said, take half your stuff out, put it in storage, start moving already. You're moving, get in the moving mindset, right? So declutter, depersonalize. And so that means family photos, sports memorabilia, religious stuff, political stuff. Get those things that are deeply personal to you. Go ahead and start storing those too, because those tie you to the property, not the new potential buyer to the property. Mm-hmm. So you want them to be able to see themselves in the property, not say, oh yeah, this is Dan's house. There's his name, right? Like
exactly. And all of his stuff.
Yeah. And then the third thing. So declutter, depersonalize, and deep clean. And as an agent, another little thing you could do to add value is find a cleaner, somebody who can go for a couple $100 and do a deep clean on a property. And what if you fronted the bill for that? Maybe you don't have the money to do that right now, but at a certain point, what if that was another little value add you could throw in there and say, hey, you know what? Why don't I handle this as part of the listing agreement? And, you pay me, maybe we'll just increase the commission on the back end, but you don't pay it up front. But, some of these other services, guys, I do that with pressure washing, landscaping, maid service, anything that they need. Like, I don't mind fronting it and then getting a higher commission at the end.
I was going to say, I know that you are, and I mean, I know this inside and out. I'm going to share it. Like, you have a couple different plans. And if people want the all-inclusive plan that includes this type of video photography, the marketing plans, you offer different menus, if you will. And you can do that, guys, yourself too. I mean, get creative. You don't have to stick with, the commission rate. And then half of us, more than half of you, are lowering it to get the listing. Colley's actually increasing the commission plan and adding more value and adding more different types of marketing that no one else is doing.
So the question with that is, would you rather save a little or make a lot?
Love that.
And then they're like, what? Well, what do you mean? Well, this other agent said they would do it at whatever theoretical number. Okay. 3.5%. Like, oh, really? What do you get for that? And they don't know. They're just they're gonna list it. Okay. Well, here's what I would recommend. Why don't you can pick any of my packages. I do have package levels. I don't care which one you pick, but my clients who have picked this one, let's say the 7%, which includes full staging and HD photography and all the video and all this promotion and help with preparation, like we were just talking about, all this stuff. They actually are seeing an increase over over what the average price per square foot for what their neighborhood would originally indicate. They're getting 5 to 10% above that.
Exactly.
Even, yes, the whole market is elevated at the moment, but this 1% extra in commission could get you so much more. Obviously, I can't guarantee you how much more. I'm not the buyer. I'm not writing the check, but this is what I've seen. And I can show you the stats in the market that if you prepare better and you promote better, your price will get better.
Yeah, you're actually
And I've had people literally pick me at 7% over an agent at 3.5%, guys, because the perceived value of my service is so much higher. And okay, let's bring it back to video. Video helps you create that perceived higher value because by the time somebody's in a listing appointment with you, they should have already seen multiple videos.
That's right.
Of your other listings. And then what's really cool, and this is why I say start with listings, and also film the process of the property preparation if you can, because at the end you can turn that into a video that's a case study video. And I did this and put together like a 90-second video of me literally just popping into frame. And now we're pressure washing with Waterboy pressure washing. And now the stager is here. And now they're doing this. And now we're doing this. And now I'm putting it live in the MLS. Right. And I mean, just very, very quick things. You know, my photographer thought I was crazy. She's like, what are you doing?
I saw the end piece. It's great.
Yeah. Right. So
I saw it. Yeah.
But the thing is, now I have a little, the other thing about video is that it lasts forever. Yep. You create it once and you can share it 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 times in one blast, but it also lasts through time, right? I made that a year ago. I still show that to every listing appointment that I have.
You know, what happens too is because we do video and my producers have been awesome at sharing how these strategies with me over the years, especially Zach. But here's what I know, like the more, and I have to tell you, by the time they're ready to buy, they feel like they already know you, and it cuts the selling process down to nothing because they've heard you, they've watched those videos. By the time you show up at the door, right, you're at like a 90% conversion and you haven't even actually done your presentation yet, but it's because all of that built up to, I like this guy, look what he does. I like all of that. And then by the time they actually buy, the sales pitch is like, you know, shortened. You do not have that, you know, you're not starting from get to know me when I walk in the door.
There are very few objections.
Right.
In fact, usually they're just asking you, well, so what do we do? What should I mean, you are really perceived as an authority. And you'll walk in and they're like, this is what my dining room looks like. What should I do about it? What about this room? What do you think? And it's like, okay, so I've actually had to start really thinking about things like staging and like really working through that process because, and just owning that role of I am the expert that can help you increase your sale price. And the numbers are showing that too, you know? So, you know, the stats are there to support it every, you know, all the things that I'm telling them to do. Okay. So let's see. Oh yeah. I just caught the end of that comment.
Yeah. That's from Jill Katzenberg.
Oh, I love Jill.
Our top coaches. Yeah. You guys have chatted before.
Yep.
Yeah, it is a great line, and everyone on here should like use that. I mean, you talk about, you know, price is what people pay, value is what they get.
It's what they get, yeah.
And my father taught me this at a very young age. You know, if you don't add value, no one's going to hire you. And if you add more value than your competitors, you are radically different, and that's what you're doing, which is what I love. I also wanted to ask you, so where do you house your videos? Because I know people are asking that question. Do you have a YouTube channel, and do you house your videos somewhere? Like, are they just on Facebook, or do you upload them to YouTube first and then share them on Facebook?
Yeah.
You do that.
So very few people fully utilize, including me, all the ways you could do it and all the places you could do it. But let's just walk it through what you could do. Facebook is my go-to. It's the one that I want to make sure every one of my videos is on Facebook because it just has the largest user base.
Okay.
Secondarily, YouTube. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. The thing about YouTube is that you can get organic views easier there than you can on Facebook, meaning people are going to find it because they're searching for that information.
Right.
And so, so I use YouTube, but you can always cut these little clips down and you can make it an Instagram reel or a TikTok, right? You should definitely be then taking, especially the YouTube, you should definitely take the YouTube and post it back onto your website. Okay. Because Google starts to rank things higher when YouTube videos, like let's say you have a blog article or you do a monthly market update like I do, shoot a video of that, put it on YouTube, link it back into and embed it into your website, your blog post, and it'll increase your search engine optimization on both of those things.
Right on.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing about video. We hear this term video a lot right now. It is a form of communication. Just start seeing it like that. It's like the written word, okay? Humans have had the written word for thousands of years. You know, it used to be on a stone tablet. Exactly. And then it was on papyrus. And then we figured out how to print books. And that was a huge revolution. And then when the internet started, it was all text. It was all written word. So then there was email. And now there's, short text on a phone. All of that is text information. There's so many different ways you could use it, but it's just using words in a visual form. Video is using body language and voice intonation in a visual form.
Yeah.
That is easily transmittable. And we're just now getting to the point where technology is fast enough and good enough to allow it to transmit the way that it does now.
This is all fabulous. Do you do, I have a couple comments. I heard you say repurpose the videos, which means take, if it's a 45-second video or a 90-second video, you can take 15 seconds of that and put it on a Instagram reel or make it a TikTok. I also loved earlier when you said, look into the camera as if you were looking into the face and the pupil of the eyes of the people you want to talk to.
Yeah.
That's what's so great about video is that you could sit and make 100 phone calls, right? I mean, I think Grant even said this last week. I can prospect to 1,800 people with one video, right? You can also, do you send any of these videos out on email to your sphere in case they're not on social media? I mean, I actually remember I said that to you like 2 weeks ago and you were like, I always forget to do that.
I finally did it. I finally did it in my last weekly email to my database. I was like, oh yeah, I do these monthly market updates and I throw it all over Facebook and I put it on YouTube and then I forget to include it in my emails back to my database. So the thing is, there are so many ways to use it. Invariably, you're not going to do every single one of the ways unless you have a team of people helping you do it. So don't feel bad about that, but just start getting it out there. And just to go back to this, like if you're going to start anywhere, start with your listings because if you do listings on Facebook and you promote it as a reach campaign and then you create a custom audience with it, what that means is that every listing you take will build your audience by, in my area, it's been 500 to 1,000 people. Every listing that I get gets me another 1,000 viewers that I get to go back to. So it snowballs through time. And the more that you do, the bigger your audience grows. And then any piece of content that you create from there is then you can sort of introduce yourself, not just properties, but you can introduce, hey, here are the top 3 tips to find, hidden homes in the market that other people don't know about. Or here are the top 3 things you need to know about your credit score. Or here are the top 7 ways people lose money when selling their house, or whatever. Like, you can come up with all those how-to things that establish, and this is something that Grant does as well, and he talks about, that establishes your credibility and authority in the mind of those prospects. And here's the thing: if somebody watches one of those videos, even if it's a 2 or 3 minute video, if they get to the end of that video, they are interested.
Yeah.
Like 3 minutes of hearing somebody talk about credit scores, like, you're not gonna,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not watching that
unless you are interested.
Yeah. But think about 100 people who know you're an expert and authority on a subject. What can that do to your business over the next year or 2 years?
Exactly. You have a wider net that you're casting to increase. Every time I talk to you, we do our calls, and I'll say, where did that come from? And I know, you'll say, this came from my audience, the video and social media. I have a question about, so we always teach everybody, you're selling the community. Do you do introductory videos about the community, the schools? We'll have agents interview the superintendent of the school system, drone shots of the school, the rec center, the landmarks of the community, that kind of stuff. We're selling the community. I know that if you put that on YouTube and social media, now that's sitting there. What I'm trying to get everyone to understand is when someone searches Fayetteville, Arkansas, that video is going to pop up, and people are clicking. Most of us don't even know, right? There's all on a Google search. There's images, and then there's videos. And if you can be in that video, right, you can have a video on there for 10 years. The same video. We're talking about making content once and using it forever. So in addition to videos about how-tos and things like that, do you ever do an individual, iPhone video to a new customer? Just providing services. I just wonder.
And I'll tell on myself a little bit. Those like hometown highlight type videos and location videos, it's been on my plate. It's a project I really want to get to. It's just I haven't done as many of those yet. But I know as soon as I start doing those, I'm going to get a ton of people contacting me, especially from out of the area. That's what happens. If you do videos about moving to my place, like you get a ton of people. I get people calling me from all over the country to move here because of my monthly market updates and because of how I have the keywords for all of our towns in those updates. And that's actually not the best way to do that. And I know it, and I'm trying to, I'll be trying to get better on that. But yeah, I still get interest from those. So,
and I think a lot of people don't know that, Google owns YouTube, and that's the whole little connection there that, your videos are on there. They're going to be.
So you asked a really good question though, about different ways to think of using video, right? So just like sending somebody a short text, you can film 15 seconds saying, hey, this is Colley Bailey with Fathom Realty. Thanks for reaching out, trying to get that homes list. Just wanted to make sure you were able to see those properties. If you want any changes or additions to the homes list that you're seeing, let me know. I'd love to help. Have a good day. And maybe that's your first reach out to somebody that was just a cold internet lead looking for properties. That's a much better reach out than just a text, right?
Exactly.
And it may, I'm not convinced that it's not better than actually calling, because so many people aren't answering calls, but they'll watch you talk to them.
That's right. Or do both, right?
Or do both. I mean, do both. But I'm just saying, like, I would love to see the results. Because I know if I do that, I get people answering way more than if I don't do that.
And I think, people are asking, and I have a couple of questions about what services can do this, because it's time. It can be a little bit time.
So BombBomb does that well. Phones are actually getting to the point where if you're sending something, you can send a very short video through text and it actually shows up pretty well, especially if you're on the same networks or like if you both have an iPhone, those videos actually look great as they are. So if you don't have another service, don't feel bad, but BombBomb is a really good one because then you can actually go back and it saves the file. So you can send an email with it. You can send a text with it. You can see if they watched it.
Yeah.
It gives you analytics. It's really helpful.
And also branded. It's a branded shot. If you want to try out BombBomb, go to sherrijohnson.com. They're a partner of ours. And you can try them out, I think, for 2 weeks for free or something. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really worth it. I mean, it's really, really worth it. And here's the other thing that's great about BombBomb. Okay, so people think about video right now as a lead gen tool. And we've mostly been talking about it as a lead gen tool, but we just brought up it could be a follow-up tool too. It can also help with your presentations. What if you just filmed your listing presentation or buyer presentation? Maybe you could make a buyer guide. Like I've done those things, and it's great to be able to give people.
Yep.
So now when I meet with people for a listing presentation, they've already seen the presentation and they already know what's going on, and it's way simpler.
Yeah. It's such an easier process.
Yeah.
And you
can actually turn that into a landing page and say, hey, to get my whatever program,
click here.
You can turn it into a program and you're like, oh, it's free information. Just leave your name and information here and I'll get it to you. And then so on the next page, they get to see this video that you put together, and it's your listing presentation. It's all the reasons. It's like how to do the thing and why to choose you at the end.
Yeah. And actually, we like to have a click here to sign the documents and get started. I mean, you can actually have your online documents set up.
That's cool.
Isn't that awesome? And then you just click here to review the forms. I'm ready. Call to action buttons. Call to action buttons should say, I want to sell my house. I want to sell. I want to.
Yep.
You use the term strategy call. Click here for a strategy call.
A strategy session. Yeah.
Strategy session about buying or selling. So great. It's so great. I would like to have you on again for talking about landing pages, because maybe. So maybe we'll do that, because you implemented a system that we teach on how to create video, create landing pages, create leads. And so if you want to follow Colley Bailey, how can people follow you? Where should they go?
Facebook would be great. At my business page, Colley Bailey, New Home Specialist, or maybe it's just Colley Bailey New Homes. Anyway, Google. It's a weird name, so
it's Colley Bailey.
It'll get you to me, or you can Google me. My business page is on there, and my website. But all that stuff.
and I know you're part of Rockstars in Real Estate Facebook group too, so you can.
Reach out to me on
there. Find you in that group. If you're not a part of Rockstars in Real Estate with Sherri Johnson Coaching, join that today. We'd love to have you. A lot of free content, a lot of great coaching tips that we give you, on top of video, social media, digital marketing. And this has been awesome. I mean, you just gave everyone, I was taking notes and I'm listening to you, and you can go watch Colley's videos. I mean, they're a great example of what you can do, and everyone has their own personality that you'll add to this. But I have to tell you, got to jump in the deep end, because I'm very concerned for agents who are not doing video, that I don't know how many years it's going to be. Like, it could be 2 years, it could be 4 years. All I know is that we have to have video, or we're going to be passed by. That's my biggest thing to tell you. So Colley, you'll come back?
Yeah.
Would love
It's
to have it.
as big. Look, it's as big a deal for marketing as the telephone
That's right.
or the TV ad, or I mean, it's just, yeah. And I can only think in my market, I can think of less than 10 agents that are really consistently doing it.
I know.
And we're all doing our own things, like there's somebody in my market who's doing great on YouTube, and I know they're getting a lot of traffic on YouTube, and I'm doing great on Facebook. There's maybe a couple other people that are doing like Facebook lives and stuff, but they're not doing the paid stuff like I'm doing. There's some people on TikTok. There's some people who are on Instagram, but like we're not all really doing everything that we could be doing.
Right.
But again, out of 4,000 agents here, I can literally think of less than 10 that I've seen video content from.
Well, you are awesome. We loved having you today. Thank you so much. And you know what? Check out Colley Bailey. I just put his spelling in the chat in the comments so you know how to find him. And remember to check out our podcast, You Rock with Sherri Johnson. I'm also giving away a free 30-day trial of the Sherri Johnson playbook, and that is available at Sherri's freeplaybook.com. So you can go there, get a free month. You'll have access to the Sherri Johnson Academy. You'll also be enrolled in a monthly Q&A coaching session with me. In fact, the next one is next Wednesday, August 11th at 3 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to sign up for that, we'll put in the chat, Sherri's freeplaybook.com. First month is on me, and you'll have access to all of our courses, 15 of them anyway, as well as a free monthly live group Q&A, which is unbelievable. And it's so many great ideas coming out of that. Only $99 after the first free month. So I really cannot thank you enough. You've been just an absolute great addition to our coaching membership and to my life. And I just know you're going to keep rocking it out and just doing such great things. Can't wait to see what's next. And have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. Colley, thank you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for everybody watching. And we'll see you on our next Rockstar interview. We've got a huge lineup of great people coming on. If you're interested in being on the show, let me know. And again, everybody, I'm Sherri Johnson. You rock, and I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye, everyone.